The Vancouver Canucks are on a 3-game losing streak, and we talk about if Canucks fans should be concerned or not. Arshdeep Bains also made his Canucks debut, and we react to his first performance against Colorado.
The fourth South Asian, or fourth Punjabi to be exact, to play in the NHL. After Robin Baba being the first, Manny Malhotra, Jujhar Khaira, and now Arshdeep Bains.
And we also talk about Jim Ratcliffe officially joining the Man United ownership group.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the VTR podcast.
We got some good topics to talk about today, but before we get into that, please hit the like button and subscribe because we produce daily sports content for you guys.
We're on the road to 500. We're almost there, so just help us out with that. But let's just get right into it. As you mentioned, we got a lot of good topics. We're talking all sports once again. We'll start off with the Vancouver Canucks, though. 3-game losing streak for the first time this year. You know when their last 3-game losing streak was last year?
Probably like one weekend.
I think it was like
their first 3 games.
I forgot what, October 9 or something like
their
that.
Their first 3 games.
Yeah, their first 3 games.
Yeah.
So this time, at least it took them, roughly 50-ish games in.
All right, guys, it's time to panic. We're gonna suck. We're missing the playoffs. We're gonna do every Canucks reaction possible. Canucks fan reaction. We're missing the playoffs. We're still winning the cup. This team's still, gonna get first rounded. So whatever. Those are probably the 3 reactions going on right now. But the 3-game losing streak itself, is it concerning? Yes. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, you don't want to be in a losing streak. Is it valuable? Yes.
I'm not. This is why I'm not concerned. Right. Once they have shown many times they could bounce back from games, right? Maximum losing streaks they had were 2. I get that. I get it. The competition may have been a little bit weaker than especially in the Western Conference side compared to the Eastern Conference side, especially with the thing coming up. Yes, we got cocked by the schedule with the road trip, then 2-game home, and then back on the road right after the All-Star break. Yes, we have Elias Lindholm. We have to acclimate, whatever the word is.
Acclimate, yeah.
Acclimate,
yeah.
I can't say it.
You can't speak.
Acclimate
Change
him.
your vocabulary.
Acclimate him. Okay, we need to get him in and figure out what the best role is. And I think his current line isn't that bad as long just give it time, right? The issue with this team right now, the only thing that's concerning me with this team is concerning every fan base probably is the power play.
Oh, yes.
That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
The power play is the only thing that I'm going to be like, damn, that's really, really concerning me. Demko lost back-to-back games for the first time in a while. Again, not concerned. Here's the reason why I'm not concerned is Colorado game. At least it was a major bounce back from a back-to-back with the weirdest way you lose to Minnesota ever.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's a one-off. I agree with many analysts. That's just a one-off because they went into Colorado, the toughest play to play any sport, right? Because of altitude and all that stuff. Playing one of the best teams. Yes, they may not be the same Colorado from a couple of years ago. I agree with that. The thing is, the difference with this game was the Canucks played well. They had offensive chances. They just couldn't bury stuff like they did in the beginning of the year, right? The bounces did not fall their way.
Especially in the third period.
Which happens.
Yeah, Gorgiev, I don't know what the hell he turned into, but he turned into Superman. Gorgiev.
And not just him, that's Philip Hronek. Everybody was arguing why slap shot, why not wrist shot.
That's true, you too.
But the thing is, I'm not even concerned about that. At the end of the day, the defenseman came out pretty quick. So they could have blocked the wrist shot too, right?
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is this. We didn't finish our chances when we needed to most. That was the only, plus the power play was the only concern for Colorado. A lot of positive take out of Colorado, especially what you saw in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right? So we thought we're like, okay, you lost this game in Minnesota. You're playing a second night in Colorado. You're going to be tired against a better team. You might just get destroyed again. But that didn't happen. You had a lead. You held on it for a period. And you honestly should have tied the game, even taken the lead back, if you buried your chances.
Yeah, so like I said, power play is the major concerning thing because we had a power play late. PD, like he always does, draws the penalty like he is a master at doing essentially. Which he did. Yeah. Right now, everybody's gonna question the officiating, right? Like for example, the Minnesota game. But yeah, obviously, JT Miller was a penalty. I get that. Outside of that, should the whistle have been blown? I say yes. Should there have been? Did they dictate the game? Tyler Myers obviously set a pick, did not get called as a penalty. Then it just went downhill because they started doing makeup calls, which is what, again, with officiating, that's what I hate, is when refs try to look for makeup calls. and just for that. Like, you made a mistake, you own it. Yes, and that favor it was for the Canucks. But if that was the other team, just call the game normally after. Don't try to like do a couple of makeup calls because you're away, especially, or the Canucks are away, so you're trying to appease to the home crowd and all that stuff, right? But no, going back to the game, the power play. It's just like, I know you're trying to get Lindholm included in that. I get that. The problem for me isn't like, it's the teams have figured out what they're trying to do, because clearly they're moving around more so than they did in the past with the Bo Horvat. Was it bumper spot or whatever spot he was on?
There were two ways. It was
PD slap shot
and Bo Horvat bumper. That was the only two things on the power play. Now
you move around a lot. You're trying to you do unpredictabilities, but now you kind of became stagnant again. But at the same time, you're not shooting. I'm not saying shoot and there's 3 guys in front of you, right? I'm not saying do that. I'm saying you need to shoot when you can and move around to a certain degree, because you guys right now what they're doing is trying to find the perfect play.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
That's what's annoying. And listen, as talented as they are, at the beginning of the year, the power play carried them a bit, and now it's obviously gone downhill. Maybe they need to change the personnel a little bit. No, Kuzmenko is not the reason why, because Kuzmenko barely played on it. He was scratched, not most of the time, like scratched like for 5 of the 6 of the games, and on top of that, he was downgraded for Phil Hronek as well. Couple of times. But yeah, the question though is the contendership. Are the Canucks really Stanley Cup contenders based on this year strictly, right? Obviously they have the talent. Do they have the consistent top end talent like other teams? That's what we're going to find out in this playoffs. There's no way. They finished with 83 points last year. Unless they really do not win any game this year, I'm sure they'll eclipse 90.
The thing is this, bro, right? This 3-game losing streak, it tells us a lot about this team that, like, okay, there's still some stuff to fix up, right? Because going into the All-Star break, we went in a good run, right? January was a good month, right? End of December or whatever, that January streak was really good. Obviously, it's not looking as good as it once was. But you got to figure that shit out. And it's genuinely the best time to figure it out, right? You're before the trade deadline, if you need to add something quickly, you could add it. If you think your team just needs to fight through it, they could just fight through it, right? You have a squad, right? We haven't said this about a Canucks team ever since like 2011. You have a squad that could actually make a run.
There's a reason why you gotta
face
early.
You gotta face adversity, right?
That's my point. I was gonna bring that up.
You have to, because at the end of the day, can you play with your backs against the wall? Can you play your best hockey when you have not been playing your best hockey?
You literally stole my point.
Yeah, like I feel like it's obvious though, like, because you're gonna be down, 1-0 in a playoff series, potentially 2-0. Even
you might be down a game. Huh? You might be down a whole game as well.
No, probably like series.
No, I'm saying in general. So
I'm saying series. I'm saying 1-0 down in series.
Oh, I think about games and stuff. Yeah. No, I'm gonna add on to your point, because here's.
I'm not talking about comebacks and games. I'm talking about like series.
Even that too, though.
Yeah.
But to add on to your point, Boston had 2 3-game losing streaks last year. They were historically the best team in NHL, right? If I'm not mistaken, they ended up beating the record.
Yeah.
Okay, so historically they were the best regular season team in NHL history. They had 2 3-game losing streaks. One was during the regular season. You know when the second one was?
The Florida 3-1
Exactly.
Comeback.
So they did not face that type of adversity like you're saying. So the reason why I'm not fully panicking outside of the power play, because that's a whole different ballgame, because you're 5-on-4 with that talent and how you guys played at the beginning of the year. I don't know how Pittsburgh is bad at their power play, but that's what it's kind of getting to at the moment. The thing is, like, as long as this doesn't continue to like 7 games, that's a different story. 3-4 game losing streak, I'm fine with it. Bounce back, because when you have your upcoming schedule now, you guys are going to be playing off the bat. You're going to bounce back in Seattle, hopefully. You got Boston. You got Pittsburgh, who's going to be desperate.
You got Colorado back.
You got the Kings. You got the Kings, and you got Vegas. You got the Jets, Colorado. So listen, you've shown you could play with Colorado. The difference was they finished their lucky, bouncy chances, right? From a guy who, it was funny because everybody on the radio in the morning in Halford and Bruff, they're saying like, oh yeah, Ryan Johansson's not working out, and he's the Port Moody kid himself tortures the Canucks in the first game. But you're telling me that Nathan McKinnon's point streak almost ended because he ended up getting it on the empty net goal. Yeah. Outside of that, like non-empty net goal, his point streak was about to end, right? As probably the Hart Trophy favorite at this moment. Yes, he is Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. These guys didn't get their chances, but you played well ahead of them, and quiet. Demko played well as well.
They were quiet. I didn't hear much McKinnon, Rantanen,
and Makar,
right? And McCarr, but then McCarr is also doing his defensive duties as well. I'm focusing on like offensive threat. Obviously, you haven't seen much McKinnon and Rantanen in that game. They played well. Obviously, Demko did his thing. But the thing is this, bro. You have your tough stretch now. This is your test, right? This is what we want to see as Canucks fans, and obviously people just watching the game in general, or just everyone else around you, all the analysts and stuff. Your bounce back games are not going to be against San Jose or Anaheim.
Yeah.
They're going to be against Colorado. They're going to be against Boston. They're going to be against Seattle, who's honestly decent.
Yeah,
right?
they're decent, but I'd rather have against Boston.
Yeah, no.
Right? Like, if you beat Seattle, I don't want you guys to lose to Boston. Simple
Exactly,
as that.
yeah.
Especially when you guys lost the way you guys lost earlier. Yeah, no, so, like, my point exactly, like, as long as they need to face adversity, right? People thought adversity was in that road trip they've just finished, because it ended up being 3-1-1 because they got destroyed by Boston, and
they lost to overtime.
And they had to come back against Columbus as well.
It was Capitals.
No, and also Columbus, right?
We didn't do
Oh, Columbus was at home.
Yeah,
Never mind. The comeback was at home.
That was before All-Star.
Yeah. The point is, though, I just want to see adversity. Can you bounce back from it, right? Don't make it a habit. Rick Talker said these are all learning lessons, right? After the winning Winnipeg Jets game. Because look at the NFL for a second. When did the Eagles face adversity?
Too late.
When did the Niners face adversity and the Chiefs?
No, midway. Chiefs faced like the whole year.
True, but I'm just saying in general. But which two teams made the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no, the Niners and the Chiefs.
Exactly.
It's the perfect time to lose. Just don't make it a habit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You lose 3, you lose 4. Just don't let it get to 6.
Yeah.
Right? Don't not let it get to 6.
Like, don't lose 9 of last 10 games either.
Yeah, no.
But like now you lost 3, try to make it a 5-5 in the last 10. That should be the goal, right? Like to exactly what you said earlier, which was the point I was gonna make. You're gonna be down 1-0 in games, and you have to make adjustments because it's a playoff hockey. But you're also gonna be down even 2-0 in a series, and you have to make adjustments.
3-1, 3-0. No matter what you are, you gotta play your best hockey when your backs are against the wall. The Canucks' backs are against the wall right now.
Now, here comes the true question, which is the title of this video, essentially. In your opinion, this year strictly, are they Stanley Cup contenders?
Yes.
Or is the first place President's Trophy a farce to you? But yeah, sorry, I should have finished that off.
Yeah. I still believe they're contenders. I still believe they have the squad. I think they have decent depth right now, obviously, with the player call-ups that we'll get into soon as well. Defensively, we're looking strong.
They're currently injured too, right? And
yeah.
Dakota Joshua, Carson Soucy.
Exactly.
And
right.
someone else, I believe.
Like, Juleson stepped up and playing incredibly.
Yeah, but
right,
will he be reliable enough in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, but then, that's where you have Soucy in the back pocket as well. So, there's no... You're fine there. The goalies, I love the goalies. Demko and DeSmith, they're both incredible.
Yeah.
For what they're supposed to be doing. Then forwards, obviously, I like the bottom 6. The top 6 sometimes concerns me.
That's what I'm going to go with it, right?
That's the only concern I have for this Canucks team as contenders.
I'm not leaning tier 1 Stanley Cup contender. I would say they're like half a tier below Vegas when healthy, because guess what? Vegas is probably going to finesse their way with the stats cap because Mark Stone just got injured, so which means his cap is going to be LTIR'd until the playoffs come, which is, again, I understand why people are frustrated with that, but if it's something you could do, you do it, right?
Yeah.
Until the NHL changes, you could hate, 2 things could be right. You could hate it, but if
you gotta hate the game for that. You can't hate the
player. In this case, team.
The team, yeah.
But yeah.
I mean,
but no, my
Tampa
point
Bay
is,
did it
like,
too.
I still think they're half a tier, like, healthy Vegas.
with
Dallas
that.
and Colorado still, like, Dallas especially, because they're kind of sneaky there right now. My question to you is, are they in the same level as Edmonton at the moment? Or if Edmonton, let's just say the Canucks do fall to a 2nd seed.
It gets a little bit tougher. It gets tougher.
Edmonton Canucks first round, who do you got?
It's gonna be a tight one, for sure.
Obviously, you might have some bias in it, but
yeah, I think I might go with the bias pick. I can't
see.
really,
Here's the thing, right?
Edmonton is obviously
the reason why I'm a little concerned in the way not to put them in the Stanley Cup contender status. Who on this team, star player wise, have done that? Their only playoff experience with the 3-4 guys. I guess Demko in the Vegas series, but it was in the bubble, right? In that bubble series. And even then, you can't say they were definitely amazing because those games in Vegas were like 8-shot games.
That's where.
The crowd was not a factor.
But that's where the 1 seed is crucial.
Yeah.
You cannot not win the Pacific Division. You have to get Edmonton and Vegas set up for the first round matchup.
I would want to avoid LA right now too.
You cannot. It doesn't matter. LA, I'll have LA gladly in the first round over Edmonton and Vegas. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with that. I'm not saying LA is a slouch. Don't get me wrong. LA is a good team.
We're
but
going to talk about
Edmonton
LA
and
after.
Vegas, if you are a 2 or 3 seed, you are screwed.
Yeah.
Simple as that, because you have to face both of them just to get to the conference finals. Whereas if you're the 1 seed, you have them face each other. You win your first round matchup, you face one of them. You have to be the 1 seed. If you're not,
then they're not contenders.
They're not contenders. As simple as that.
I disagree with the LA once again because again, 2 years in a row they went against Edmonton.
Yeah, no, I didn't say
and kept it close. I know you said like either way
there's a difference, bro.
You want the 2 juggernauts to take each other
levels.
out. I get it.
There's levels.
But I would still rather face a St. Louis than LA.
Oh, of course.
There's a massive difference between the two
only
teams.
3 options we have.
I know.
There's only 3 options we have.
But I'm saying right now you guys are the best team in hockey, right? Which makes my point even better. You have the bubble, the gap, whatever the word is, the buffer. You have the buffer to maybe mess around and lose 4 games in a row, right?
You do.
Right now, Edmonton is, at the time of recording, Edmonton is playing Boston. So we'll see what they look like. Because, again, they're 10 points clear on Vegas. Vegas has 2 games on hand at this moment. So they win both those games, there'll still be 6 points clear off them. Edmonton's the only one where they have, I don't know how they have 52 games, 6 games in hand on Vancouver's. And that means if they do win all these games, they're only 1 point behind. But
yeah, so the
point is this, right? For me, okay, I'm going to finish my point.
Yeah.
You said strictly if they're the first seed, they're contenders. If
So let me just finish that then.
Okay, go.
Reason being is like you're facing one of those, you get one of the juggernauts out because we all know Edmonton, Colorado, and Vegas are like the top 3, right, for contenders wise. If you're looking at like past couple of years, they've been like.
I need to see Colorado's trade deadline.
Yeah, no, but they've been there and done that, right?
Yeah.
As well, you gotta put that factor in. You get Edmonton and Vegas in the first round, and you have someone else like Killing Kings, hopefully the Blues as well, someone a little bit worse. And you go through that, then you face, let's say Vegas wins, you face Vegas in the second round, right? And at the end of the day, you have energy, you have you still have the squad to like match up with Vegas. Whereas if you're the 2 and 3 seed, you have to beat, let's say Edmonton the 2nd seed, the 3rd seed, you're the 2nd seed. You have to go through a grueling series against Edmonton, a grueling series against Vegas. Even if you do win both of them, what do you have left for a Colorado or a Dallas in the 3rd round?
Yeah, no,
as well.
I get that. So
that's why I said strictly, I'll put them in the contendership
with a caveat.
Yeah.
No. The reason why like I said, if they get St. Louis in the first round, then that's a different story. If they get LA in the first round or one of the other teams, then I'm gonna be like I'm iffy because LA is battle tested with those young guys as well. Issue with LA and Edmonton, we know it's going to be the goalies. We have one of the best. We have a top 2 Vezina finalist, right? It's probably Hellebuck winning it, but Demko, depending on how the stretch goes, is up there, right? Every analyst comes on and says Tocchet and Demko, they could get them far. I'm only iffy because those bubble games were without a crowd. You're gonna have to right?
Yeah.
Is JT Miller that guy, second guy on a championship team? Again, it's hockey and not basketball. I get that. The other thing is, at the end of the day, you need talent to win the cup. Every team in these past couple of years, you do. It's very rare you get a non-star team in any sport to win a cup, right? Or a championship or a trophy or whatever. Is Elias Pettersson the number one guy on a championship team? I hope so. I believe so. He is kind of struggling.
We don't know.
We don't know. We need to see it.
We don't know.
Whereas McDavid, the Vegas team in general, whether you throw in Mark Stone or Jack Eichel.
Whoever their top 3 players are.
Yeah, Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
You have Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar on the other side.
Yeah.
We've seen them in an actual proper playoff setting where you travel and you face crowds, you face adversity and all that.
And we've seen them win.
Yeah, and we've seen them, except Edmonton was, if it wasn't for those 2 teams, could have been the final or even won, right? The Canucks, yes, I get it. All credits to them. At the time, Bo Horvat, but Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, Thatcher Demko, and JT Miller all elevated in a playoff setting. For sure. I 100% agree with that. Can I see it now? Let's see. Defensively, I'm more confident. I wish we could get a little bit more depth. I don't want them to go crazy and trade away picks just to get rental pieces. I get that. This is why you traded for Elias Lindholm early, who is battle tested himself. Unfortunately, did not go for. Or the only good year with Calgary was when the year that Kachuk and Goudreau departed in the offseason, right? Where he did well. And then we'll see how he does. I hope Tocchet gives it time. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm iffy to say contender status at the moment. I want to see what their streak is like heading into the playoffs and where their seeding is. So yes, I agree with your caveat a little bit. But overall, I have Vegas ahead of them. I might still have to say I have Edmonton ahead of them if they do end up facing each other. And I have Dallas ahead of them, and I have Colorado ahead of them. That's 4 teams off the bat I have ahead of them.
In the
then
West.
if you do somehow get by all that, I have Florida. Unfortunately, I have Boston, and I have the Rangers ahead of them. I'm fine with Carolina. They showed that they could beat them in the regular season, and they did it twice. But those 3 teams, which we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about 2 of those teams
beat
soon.
the Rangers as well.
Yeah, but like the Rangers are also different.
So that answers the question of Canucks contendership. But speaking of depth, right? We mentioned depth before, and Arshdeep Bains proved that he is a good depth piece in his first career NHL game.
It is one game
Against Colorado, out of all
First
teams.
of all, before we even talk about the game,
Yeah.
we have to give a shout out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because last time we talked about him, he did not play.
Yeah, he didn't, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was called up, but he
was
did
called
not
up.
play.
He didn't play, yeah.
He officially played, right? The 4th South Asian, or 4th Punjabi, to be exact, to play in the NHL. After Robin Baba being the first, Manny Malhotra, Jajar Khera, and now Arshdeep Bains. I want to put the Punjabi culture and the race to the side. Undrafted in the Bantam League. Undrafted in the NHL.
Yeah.
That's way harder to get into the NHL that way. Right? Let alone, the reason why he's elevated is to us is because he's Punjabi. I get that. The reason why he's elevated to the non-Punjabi community, when you see guys tweet all the time in the Canucks, guys like Daniel Wagner, guys like Thomas Drance, and all these guys, is because of what I just said. So to mix those 2 in together, it's the ultimate underdog story.
For sure.
And after that game, yes, maybe advanced numbers I heard weren't the greatest because he was -2 as well. Advanced number wise, he in general he may have not been blown the socks out of the water on like how some rookies do in a rookie game in their first game at times.
But he was undrafted.
and Talkett said he was okay, I believe, after the game. But he also played him more than the 4th line guys who have been NHL driven this time.
Here's the thing, bro. This story, the way he's been on, is nothing new to him.
Yeah,
right? It's
exactly.
nothing new to him.
He went from
even if he played really bad,
like
it's nothing new to him because that's what he's been doing his whole entire life.
he
Undrafted, people don't believe in you when you don't get drafted.
undrafted from the Bantam League to leading scorer in Red Deer. Undrafted from the NHL to All-Star MVP
In the AHL.
in the AHL, and now he made his NHL debut. Now, if that's the case, hopefully it's a Stanley Cup Final MVP, but obviously we know that's a little too far-fetched.
But the thing is this. Nobody believed in them as a team, right?
Earlier on, yeah.
Nobody did. And he proved them wrong every single way. And I'm assuming he had many bad games in his career.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he did, and he's still here, right? And that's the most incredible part, right? Like, we're seeing this guy. Yes, we're taking the Punjabi side to it. No matter who it is, we're seeing this guy get tested again and again and again. If you're like, it's crazy to think that undrafted in the Bantam League.
Yeah.
Like, how often does that happen? People who get first rounded in the Bantam League barely even make it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Undrafted in the Bantam, like, that in itself is so impressive, right? And then obviously when you throw in the Punjabi side to it, is even more impressive because he's the 4th person to ever do it.
Yeah, so the Punjabi side, obviously, he's going to definitely be a role model to many young kids, not just from Surrey, BC, but all over the world, right? Wherever you are, especially Canada. I do want to say this, in terms of the race, I know people can say that, oh, this could be a publicity stunt or HR move by the Canucks. I highly doubt that because Rick Tockett's your coach and Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvino are your front office guys. They said time and time again that they were going to only bring up people when they're ready. And he's proven that he's ready. Because there's no business of him coming up after being if he was a non-all-star in the AHL, fine, I get that point. But he was an all-star and then the all-star MVP in the AHL level, right? So he deserved an opportunity. But listen, once Joshua gets healthy, I know many people said that he belongs. And I'm not saying, again, not Punjabi community because that's a little bit biased. I'm talking about guys like Jason Brough. I'm talking about guys like Jamie Dodd. All these guys in Sportsnet 650 Canucks, because that's the home of the Canucks here in Vancouver, have said he belongs, right? In fact, they're saying Mikheyev should get dropped. A guy who's been in the NHL for how long now? Right?
Oh, yeah,
He
we
looked
know.
like he looked in place. He played hard. He knows what to do. He's playing his role, right? He's not
doing
trying,
what he's supposed to
he's
do.
not doing what he's not aspiring what he was. Because yes, he ain't gonna be that guy from Red Deer, right? Like leading scorer.
Yeah.
You have Pedersen, Hughes, Besser, Miller for that essentially, right? He's doing exactly what he's being told. He's improved his skating. Chris Faber, the biggest fan of his since AHL. And like I said, on top of that, the story, right, of what he did, you know the guy's going to work. There's no business of him being an AHL MVP if he isn't going to work, to your point earlier.
When
right?
he was undrafted.
Exactly. So
The thing is this, right? The goal of every athlete, right? I'm just going to say it. First career game is not like, yes, obviously, you want the first goal, you want the first touchdown, you want the first bucket, right? The goal is to fit in, to show us that you belong.
Once you make it,
Yeah.
it's tough to stay there.
I know it's tough
You can't take it for granted
for sure, but it's not even that. Like, the goal is,
to stay there.
no, the goal is, I'm talking about the first game in general, just look
okay,
at the
yeah.
first game, to show us you belong.
Yeah.
Arshdeep Bains showed us he could play at an NHL level.
Yeah.
That's the final takeaway.
And listen,
everyone has taken from the
I
game.
wouldn't mind him going down if he's meant to stay in the press box because of a guy like Dakota Joshua. In that case, go down, just kill it in the AHL. Because next year, I'm not saying you're going to be Niels Höglander, but you might have a roster spot from day one. You could be that new Alex Burrows.
And honestly, it's hard to impress Rick Tocchet. If Rick Tocchet says you had an okay game for your first ever game,
He said he wanted to call him up and give him an opportunity.
No, it's not even that. If Rick Tocchet said you played okay, and that's your first ever NHL game, you did good, because it's hard to impress Rick Tocchet.
Especially after coming off a loss, he's going to be a little bit bitter. But yeah, no, to that point, like I said, I'm not saying he's going to be Alex Burrows, but he has the potential of being the next Alex Burrows or Yannick Hansen, right?
Can be.
Guys that killed it. And like I said, that's for the game side of things. And hopefully, eventually, if he does make the squad for the playoffs, let's see. But like I said, I have no problem with him going down as long as it means he's playing. I don't want him up here just for the press box.
Do we see him in the lineup again?
Yeah.
Today?
He will play today.
Today, yeah, Seattle.
I forgot today's Wednesday for us here. But yeah, I feel like he'll play. There's no reason not to. If he played him in fourth, is Lafferty came out, right? So I could see maybe PDG or even Mikheyev sitting out. If it's Mikheyev, it's going to be crazy because that's a Milstein client. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, we have the development. Development is going crazy in the AHL. You're going to add Jonathan Lekera-Mackey to that, and you're going to add
Willander.
No, not Willander. Elias Pettersson, the deep defenseman.
And eventually Willander.
And eventually Willander, because Willander will still be in BU next year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But the thing is this, he didn't show us anything that he should be out of the lineup for the Seattle game.
Like, there's no massive negatives, really.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of the fact he maybe could have shot on the 2-on-1, but...
he still got a chance. Like, he still got a puck on
yeah,
net.
but like a cleaner shot
no.
instead of passing it would have been there. But last thing to close this out on Arshdeep Bains, once again, I want to say this. The Punjabi talent is great. I'm going to reiterate it every time. We said it last episode. We're going to say it again. Because here's the thing. The Punjabi community as a whole is like a family. And I'm going to prove to you why. For us, it's easy to support Jeevan because he's literally our first cousin.
Yeah.
Right? So for us, it's easy to see when eventually, if he ever makes a Whitecaps first team debut, we're obviously going to be there. We're right there. We are already on him for signing his first professional contract. Currently with the U20s, which starts Friday, by the way, so you guys could tune into that during the midday on CONCACAF's website and etc. Arshdeep Bains isn't related to us, that we know of at least, but because you know how the
long lost brother.
No, like you know how like they say every Punjabi's related one way or another.
Yeah.
But okay, immediate family wise, he's not right. I'm sure. First of all, his dad was ecstatic over there, right? Thatcher Demko said he loved. Thatcher Demko's dad tweeted that he loved being part of that and. You know, because he reminded of him when Demko made his debut and all that as well. But the thing I'm saying here is his family, obviously, immediate family, friends, etc., are all going to be ecstatic. Our family group chat was talking like he was in the group chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Social media, non-hockey fans were putting stuff about him on their Instagram stories, right? So no matter what happens, we're gonna always be proud. I'm always been that guy, and I'm glad to see many other people are like that, where they're gonna support the Punjabi community because we always hear the negatives. It's so good. It's so happy. I'm so to see a positive story in the headlines.
For sure. Yeah,
Everywhere in Canada. It's not a Surrey story. It's not a Canada story. It's not just a North America story.
This is a legit story.
It's a worldwide story, in my opinion.
It's an NHL story, right?
Yeah.
Like,
NHL story, not just South Asian.
yeah.
NHL story because of what he did to get to this
What
stage
he did too, as well, right? It's a proper NHL story. TSN's gonna, or Sportsnet, they're playing highlights. They're gonna mention Arshdeep Bains played his first career
we
NHL
hope
game.
they would.
Huh?
We hope they would.
They did. I watched them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about TSN. Sportsnet.
That's what I'm saying, TSN.
Yeah.
I'm saying I hope.
But but I'm just saying, like, they shown highlights. There's the special segment, 5 seconds of him saying this man has played his first career NHL game,
and this is what he had to go through.
and this is what he had to go through. Exactly.
Yeah. So once again, congratulations not just to Arshdeep, to the whole Bains family. Well deserved. Hopefully you can stay up. If not, hopefully we just see you in the long term in general. So yeah, hopefully we will hope to try to catch a game. But again, tickets are being sold out pretty quick because they're actually good this year.
That's the only issue.
And
this
it's the best part. He's on the team when they're good and healthy-ish. Healthy-ish.
That helps,
But
right?
yeah.
Like, you're not getting called up
Yeah.
into a shit situation,
Yeah.
which is the best part.
Yeah, so that will wrap up our Canucks conversation right now. We're going to talk about some other teams. But before we talk about the other teams, let's talk about a certain player of a team that we may not be fans of for obvious reasons, but we respect greatness. Auston Matthews has scored his 50th goal in 54 games.
So what you're saying is I better see 70.
That was going to be my question. That was going to be my question.
Because that is absolutely incredible. This man already scored 60 goals in a year.
Yeah.
50 in 54 games. I don't know the math, but that's almost one.
We're not going to
per
spend
game.
too much time on this because we're going to have a special video for Auston Matthews, like how we did with the
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's
We're
it.
going to make a video hopefully within the next 1 or 2 weeks. But we have to bring this up now because, again, I think since January or the All-Star break, since December 1st, 35 goals and now 36 goals in 33 games.
Yeah.
So that's more than a goal a game.
It's just incredible, right? Like, you don't see this stuff a
Is-
lot.
Is he an MVP conversation now again?
Obviously.
Because they're talking about it. Is he the favorite, though? Because he's the reason why at least Toronto is at least this far up right now. I still think it's McKinnon.
Yeah,
That could be a little bit of an anti-Leafs bias too, and I'm a huge McKinnon fan. But
Yeah, that's true.
how would you power rank it? Because right now, I think they have it as McKinnon, Kucherov, and McDavid.
You can't knock any of those guys either.
Because
You
if
really
you're looking
can't.
at total points, he's not in there.
Exactly. You can't really.
He's a 73 tied with Pettersson.
You can't really knock those
So-
guys. Yeah. You can't really knock the other three either. It's tough because a lot of people have been good this year,
Yeah.
right?
I still give it to the other guys because they're doing. I'm not saying because he's not getting it because he's not assisting. Maybe he gotten more assists than sure, but I can't even blame him because his teammates may not be scoring for him. But
Man.
at the end of the day, just this accomplishment.
If you're a goal scorer, your job is to score goals. And
We're not gonna spoil that video.
Auston
So,
Matthews is a goal scorer,
Yeah,
and 50 and
that's
50
and what's the easiest way to get a first point, like first hand assist or point like that type of thing? Is
Rebounds.
scoring a goal. No, it's just scoring a goal. Because you're guaranteed your point.
Oh, like you get a point too.
You don't have
yeah.
to rely on
Oh, I
secondary.
thought you meant like
assists.
assists, like you
No,
know,
no,
you
no.
get rebounds, you get the primary assist as well.
No. Like the best way to get a primary point is a goal.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
for sure.
Because you're not relying on someone to finish your assist.
But yeah, so stay tuned for the
We're
Matthews.
gonna keep
Yeah,
that there for now. They're currently third in the Atlantic, so it's fine. But sticking in the Western Conference still, and the reason why, when we mentioned the Canucks and Kings, and you were a little bit more optimistic than I was, is because they're on a 4-game win streak. It seems like they're kind of figuring their stuff out again, and they're currently 1 game behind Edmonton. Now Edmonton does have 2 games in hand. Now, assuming how that game goes tonight against Boston, we don't know. By the time this comes out, we'll know what the result was. So it could potentially be 1 game in hand, and still they'll be 1 point behind, right? So they, as much as I think we still agree that Canucks, Golden Knights, and the Oilers are probably locked top 3 in our eyes, but they're definitely knocking on that door of coming back into the top 3 like they were at the beginning of the year. And like I said, they were battle tested. They were many people's underrated team, for rightfully so at the beginning of the year, and an underrated team to be winning the cup. I'm not saying they're back to winning the cup status because their goaltending has been not there like it was the beginning of the year. Because Cam Talbot was an all-star.
yeah.
He ain't playing like an all-star. to be
He's
frank
also
with
dealt
you.
with a lot of injuries as well.
Exactly. So, yeah, keep an eye out on LA.
Yeah, keep an eye on LA. But we'll move over to
The East.
The East. We have Rangers and we have the Panthers, who are on win streaks themselves. I believe the Panthers on a 6 game and the Rangers on an 8 game.
Yeah. So in the last 10, Panthers are 9-1, and then the Rangers are 8-1-1.
Yeah. So
which those 8 or win 8 wins?
yeah, these guys are obviously in both of our top 5 power rankings as well.
Check those out, by the way.
NHL or their shorts or Instagram, wherever you want to see it. And yeah, they've been incredible, right? Like we've seen Panthers, they've been battle tested last year. Obviously, the Rangers, I think they just made too many moves at the deadline. That's why it probably didn't work out.
Yeah.
But we've seen these teams, especially the Rangers, from day one be here, right? Like when the Rangers were like a top 5 team, top 7 team, legit the whole year. They didn't really fall out of that from game 1 of the NHL season, right? The Panthers obviously took some time to get there, obviously dealing with injuries. But seeing these both teams at their best, right, it's kind of hard not to see that this should be the Eastern Conference Finals, because they've both been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Because Florida, like you said, they're healthy.
Yeah.
Right? Before Ekblad was injured.
Montour was
injured. Now they're back, right? They were relying on OEL at the time, even though he did well.
Bobrovsky's still continuing his playoff form, right?
And the Rangers obviously had that little stretch in the middle where they were struggling a little bit, but now, again, 8-game win streak, they seem like they're finding their way. If they could get some depth scoring, especially from their guys that are at the moment considered busts in Capo Caco and Alexei Lafreniere, because Filipino's out for the year.
That's a big loss.
I'm not mistaken on that, right? I think he's out for the year.
Is it for the year?
I think he's out for the year. I'll double check. But at least if they could find some depth scoring,
because you're not having that kid line in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then they'll be a favorite coming out of the.
Because
I'm still picking Florida to make the final again.
Yeah, no, but the crazy part is that 2 years ago, right, this Rangers team, same core, same squad basically, were the Eastern Conference Finals, upsetting the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round.
Yeah.
Right. We said Florida has been there, done that, especially last year's run, and they're proving it's not a fluke right now at the moment. The Rangers have been there and done that too.
Yeah.
With the same core.
There's a reason
with
why
their young
I thought
squad.
they were going to make it last year.
Exactly. That's why
before they made those moves.
Yeah, for sure. And the crazy part is like Shesterkin hasn't been.
He's out for the year.
Shesterkin, he goes out for the that's a big loss.
Shesterkin hasn't been considered the best.
Like he's good. He's been good, but he hasn't been Shesterkin. Right,
Wick has been carrying for a little bit.
Yeah, so like it's because like these goalies, they set expectations so high that like if you don't see him play at that level, you're gonna be concerned.
Yeah,
and they're doing that without Shesterkin being Shesterkin. Shesterkin's not playing horrible, right? To a normal standards, Shesterkin is good, but to Shesterkin standards, he hasn't been, that Vezina guy because every year we think Vezina, Shesterkin's top 3. Every year, he's in a conversation.
At the end of the day, to close out the NHL topic as a whole now, to come back to the Western Conference a little bit, but even the East, there's no team that's really a true contender. But what I mean is that Colorado team that won the Cup. That Tampa Bay team that won the Cup where they're like far and away the best team. Even when Vegas won it last year, Edmonton was right there. Right? This year, that's why the Canucks aren't, like people are saying, oh yeah, the Canucks are... like there's a reason why I'm saying they're not. They assume that they're the best in the league. They haven't heard of the President's Trophy curse because I don't think a President's Trophy winner had one in a while. Look at Boston last year. So my point is, there's many teams from both conferences that could still. You won't be surprised that will win it all.
Exactly. There's big differences, right? Like you have the Canucks, you have the Vegas Golden Knights, you have the Oilers, you have the. Honestly, you have to throw in the Jets in there. You have to throw in Stars what they've done this year.
Yeah.
There's 6 teams right there.
And then you could say bubble team Kings. And the
bubble team Kings.
So that's 7 teams.
And then obviously Jets, so around 6-7 teams there.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
West.
Yeah.
Right. East, you still have, you can't get rid of what Tampa Bay has done, right? Like, they're probably the most experienced there.
Probably.
Yeah. Toronto at the end of the day is always in the conversation. Doesn't matter how badly they choke. They're a bubble team.
Yeah.
But we'll still cover them. They're Carolina, New Jersey.
Not New Jersey this
not
year.
the Rangers.
If New Jersey gets in, though, maybe.
Yeah. The Panthers, you got the Bruins, another 6 teams.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it was clear cut that Colorado
and
Tampa Bay were going to be in the Cup final.
Yeah.
And they destroyed everyone in their path to get there.
Yeah. So
it's not that anymore. It isn't that.
So in that case, sure, Canucks are a contender, but I would, again, like I said, I won't be surprised. I won't just classify them there. But yeah. Anyways, let's just close it out there. Comment your guys' thoughts on this part below. But let's move on to some footy. We're gonna talk about some soccer because first leg of the Champions League has ended. The first leg of the round of 16. 2 upsets off the bat, right? And that's where we're gonna make our big focus on. Then the first upset, which we'll talk about with the management change soon there in Bayern Munich, losing to Lazio 1-0. That was a game we said that watch out for an upset. And then today, 90-something minute winner by FC Porto. Nice finish, banger goal over Arsenal, who I thought who are coming into this game on a hot streak themselves.
Yeah. So we'll work our way backwards, I guess.
Yeah, we'll start with the most recent one.
So, Porto Arsenal, boring game. That's what I heard. Because I'll focus more.
I'll focus on the Barca Napoli game.
I watched
which was
that game
1-1.
I turned the game on the right time.
Same.
So I think it was named Galeno.
Yeah, Galeno. Yeah.
Yeah. So he scored
It all happened because of stock you subbed on. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, he takes a touch inside, curler, far post, right side of the net. David Raya beaten, and then it came off an Arsenal turnover as well. It wasn't a good game, right? Looking back at it, our cousin in the group chat was an Arsenal fan, said himself, it was not a good game. The good news is they're coming to the Emirates, so
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's the good news. And we've seen Arsenal at the Emirates; they've been good, right? So they're definitely not finished. That's for sure.
Yeah. Other side, the other game, before we get to that game, the Bayern Munich game, the game I think we classified as game of the round, I guess the best way to put it. Like the game of the draw.
The draw of the 16, I guess, whatever.
Whatever you want to say. It was Inter Milan Atletico, I think. I think you had Barca Napoli maybe, but
I had Barca Napoli in the conversation again.
But Inter
Barca, quick comment on that game. Barca had more. Barca looked more dominant. Napoli escaped with a draw, so Napoli is really happy.
Yeah.
That they got a draw. Barca probably a little bit not, but then again, I think
But
it was still a good product. Lewandowski, what happened with Lewandowski and Osimhen scoring.
Yeah.
Nobody's surprised that happened.
Inter Atletico, like I said, no upsets really happened. Both were 50-50 for me. Inter is obviously at home. They got the 1-0 game. This is a classic Atletico, right? Keep the game at least like this, and they might do something, right? But let's talk about the other upset, which resulted in Thomas Tuchel not getting sacked immediately, but gone at the end of the year, which confuses me. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I couldn't catch this game. I think I had a work thing that day, so I'm not sure how much of you watched. But losing 1-0 at Italy, though, against Lazio, is at the Stadio Olimpico in Roma. But at the end of the, like I said, at the end of the day, it was a penalty kick given in the 69th minute, and they got it done.
You got a red card at the 67th minute as well.
Upamecano once again another red card, right? How do I say it? Because he got a red card on the weekend again when they got upset, right? When we talked about Tuchel then too. But yeah,
there's obviously 2 glaring things looking at this game.
Yeah.
One was obviously the red card and the penalty.
Yeah.
Right. The second thing is Bayern took 17 shots, 0 on target.
Goal. Yeah.
So you can't win if you're not shooting on target. So just from that stat alone,
and there's no excuse because you have Harry Kane as your striker.
Yeah, no, but from that stat alone, 0 shots on target, the best you could do is a draw.
Yeah.
So the game speaks for itself. Right?
Yeah. So here's my question to you: which team will get upset? More likely to get upset?
It's Bayern. I'm still sticking with it. I said it before.
What's your reasoning with that? Because what if I say Arsenal hasn't won a knockout game since 2015?
It's because
and Porto.
It's because.
Okay, answer that part first.
It's because Arsenal have not won a knockout game since 2015.
Okay.
It's because of that. Because Bayern, we've seen in the Champions League, Bayern does play well, right?
That's what I'm saying.
They did really well in the group, right? They beat Man United.
That's my point, yeah.
They beat Galatasaray. We're decent teams. Obviously, Man United. Then Copenhagen, who somehow came second as well in that group as well. Whereas Arsenal, they haven't been that team in the Champions League. Last year, they lost. They got bounced in the Europa League last year in the first.
So you're saying Arsenal's more motivated?
That 1, 2. I just think Arsenal just doesn't have the Euro.
Better coached.
They're better coached. Arsenal doesn't have the UCL experience, right? Whereas Bayern does, right? So the point. No, I'm telling you this.
This is making you sound like you were saying.
So
Bayern.
I'm saying that Bayern is a better UCL team.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to be a bigger upset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have rephrased the question a bit.
as well. So that's
Who
what,
do you think is more likely to get upset? Is my question.
then
I thought that's what I said, but
I thought you said what? What is more the bigger upset?
okay, I meant to say who do you
Unless I might have misheard.
who do you think is more likely to be the bigger upset?
Oh, I still. Oh, yeah. So
It's Bayern?
that's Bayern. So that's what you said. Who do you think is the bigger upset?
Who do you think will lose essentially? Like who do you think
If
if you were to put $20 on a team to definitely go through and definitely to miss?
yeah, so it's
put it
like
way.
that. You said who do you think is the bigger upset? So that's why I said Bayern.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still sticking with Bayern. I said it before. I'm still sticking with my gut. I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think
okay,
Lazio.
before
They're
you
not
answer that-
coached well. They're not coached well.
Before you answer that, part 2 of the question is who do you think is the better team, Porto or Lazio?
I think.
And I know you don't really watch
I think
League
it's Porto.
Portuguese or
I
whatever
think
it's called or Serie A.
I
like
personally
that.
think it's Porto because I've always seen Porto be here, right? Lazio's obviously in a tougher
So
Italian league as well.
okay, so here's my thing. Arsenal doesn't have that experience, and they're playing a tougher opponent. Bayern Munich, but they have the better coaching. Bayern Munich might have the worst coaching out of the two teams, playing a weaker opponent with the experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, the obvious answer is Bayern Munich, but I guess current form is Arsenal. So are you just going on current form?
Yeah, I'm just going on what I'm seeing, right? Like, there's no business Bayern being down whatever 6 or 7 points, off the Bundesliga league.
Yeah.
Arsenal's still been incredible.
Arsenal's
in the
2
Premier
points
League.
off first.
Arsenal,
in the toughest league in the world.
Arsenal figures it out.
Yeah.
Arsenal this year, whenever they had a bad game, they bounce back with a good game. Whenever they are losing 1-0, they come back and win a lot of the times. Right? I think Arsenal is up there with Liverpool with one of the most goals in the league after the 75th minute as well. So Arsenal figures shit out. You can't say that about Bayern Munich.
This year, yeah.
Yeah, you cannot say that.
I have nothing against that.
Yeah, so that's
Like, honestly, if Arsenal were to play Bayern, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal win.
like I'm heavily more confident in Arsenal to bounce back than I am in Bayern Munich. And obviously a lot of
Even
that.
after that performance from today.
Yeah, and a lot of that is to do with coaching, and especially I think that both teams are coming back at home as well, right?
Yeah,
They're
both
playing
teams are.
Yeah, so that's going to help benefit Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't trust Tuchel. I generally don't.
So, speaking of Tuchel,
And then the Harry Kane curse as well.
speaking of
That's a lot
Tuchel, it's the similar path of Xavi. Because I'm not going to say Klopp, because Klopp most likely chose to step down after they're actually playing well, whereas Barcelona is struggling. But Tuchel is not coming back the following year. How surprised are you that it was not an immediate sack, and is that the right decision?
Yes, I'm surprised. Yeah,
I'm surprised.
it was the thing with Barca is that we saw good in Barca a little bit too, right? And obviously Xavi being a legend as well, that's the lightest way of doing it, I guess. Tuchel hasn't done anything for Bayern, legit.
And this could make it worse,
Yeah.
if anything.
Legit hasn't done anything for Bayern. Whereas, Xavi still has like the player, he's a legend, let him down nicely. Or, have a proper agreement, both parties agree to part ways type of thing. Tuchel deserved every right to be fired instantly. And I think he said himself, Nagelsmann got fired for less. So, yeah, I'm very surprised it's not instant.
Yeah.
Obviously, our reason might be that, like, you're in the middle of this Champions League,
I don't care.
I know I don't care, but I'm trying to think in their perspective. I'm trying to think in their perspective. They're in the middle of a Champions League leg, right? They'll be like, okay, yeah, we need a coach.
I would have waited for this leg tie to finish.
Yeah,
If they get upset by
That's
Lazio,
what I meant to
they
say,
should get fired. He should have got sacked immediately,
for sure.
right? So he still can, for all we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, I don't blame Tuchel in this sense that he should not have been let go by Chelsea in the first place, and that's on Chelsea for how bad they still are, and Tuchel, because of that you ruined Tuchel, right? Yeah. If he does, which he's gone, I don't think he should get another big job. I think he should take the Unai Emery approach, and because who knows, he might get a Barcelona job, right? The biggest loser in this case is Barcelona, because Klopp has said, I ain't coaching next year. That's what his agent also, or his manager, whatever, said. He's like, no matter what, he ain't coaching Barcelona, and he ain't coaching the national team, right?
Okay, yeah.
So in that case, that's the biggest loser, because Klopp is available for you,
Yeah.
right? At the same time, I think this guy Tuchel needs to coach like a West Ham before he can get another big job.
Yeah.
And Barcelona's rumored to get Hansi Flick now, as well. But the successor. Right now, they're saying that for both Liverpool and Bayern is Xabi Alonso.
For sure.
Like I said, we penciled in Xabi Alonso for Liverpool, not knowing this was going to happen at the time. Now that this is happening, people are saying if I were Xabi Alonso, he should choose Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But at the same time, let's see who offers him more money. If you were to bet right now, stuff could change. But I think at this moment, where is Xabi Alonso coaching next year? Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich. I think right now, I saw a report that that's where it's leading right now. He's leading Bayern Munich or Liverpool.
I'm going to go with Liverpool just because. Okay, I'm going to say this much with confidence. He's not going to be a Bayer Leverkusen next year.
Okay.
I'm going to say that with 100% confidence.
Yeah.
Other two is obviously tough.
And we don't know what other firings are going to happen.
Yeah,
but
we
these
don't know
two
that
make the
too.
most sense because he played there.
I think it's Liverpool just because,
Premier League?
Premier League, tougher challenge, big club as well. Obviously, Bayern's a big club too. Good squad. Everything's in place for Liverpool at the moment. So,
I think it's Bayern Munich because they take everybody.
That's
the only reason why.
That's true
That's
too.
the only reason why.
Because
it's more of a meme answer I'm giving.
Yeah.
But there's still backup points to that. So
yeah, that's true.
But okay, moving on. Another coach sacking. Not gonna talk too much about this. Roy Hodgson stepped down from Crystal Palace. So let's see. Maybe Tukal will go there. But moving on. Last thing to soccer. We might take a couple minutes to talk about this because it's Man United. Officially announced that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has taken 27% ownership.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to his press conference or his interview today. However, from the bits I saw on Twitter in terms of like the guys who summarize it in quotes,
the important parts.
Yeah. The Ten Hag part, he said like there hasn't been that guy to do it. It seems like he's leaning continuity rather than changing. I don't know. I didn't read it properly. I don't remember that one properly. I mean. But if that's the case, I agree with that because I don't think Graham Potter right now is the answer. Like even to your point last time, you said about some of these coaches are good maybe for development side of things. Like for example, Xabi Alonso, we don't know how he will do. But the name you brought up, I forgot the name you brought up before. I think you brought up Graham Potter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I don't know who else you brought, but the name.
That was Graham Potter for Brighton, right?
Yeah, but Roberto De Zerbi's linked to a lot of places, right? He's supposed to be the successor for Pep.
So the guy replaced Potter.
But again, to
the current Brighton coach.
Yeah. To argue your point to back your point, we don't know because he's never coached a big club, right? So but going back to
another part of a Ratcliffe one that stuck to me when I looked over it as well.
Okay.
He respects City and Liverpool, but he wants to beat them, and he also says
essentially what Ten Hag said.
Yeah, but he also said
it's a
3-year plan
instead of a 10-year.
He's like fans need to be patient,
but not like 10-year.
Not 10-year patient, 3 years patient.
Yeah.
And which is honestly what we've seen this year, a fair assessment. It is fair, genuinely. But now it's on Ratcliffe because he has the footballing control as well, footballing operations control as well. So let's see what he does. Because are you gonna make changes? Are you gonna, buy players that actually fit the manager's system instead of buying players on deadline day for the sake of buying players because the Glazers are being on blast, because you've been on blast for having a shit deadline, right? So are we going to have a strategic buying plan this summer?
So here's the thing with them. Like I said, 3-year plan, fair assessment. It could be quicker, it could not be quicker. I hope he keeps the coach, but again, I'm fine with whatever decision. Keep in mind, Omar Barada has been poached from City as a CEO over there. Dan Ashworth is a person that are going after heavily, and he wants that. Dan Ashworth, of course. At the end of the day, whatever big club calls you, you take it because you could be potentially responsible for glory days.
Yeah.
Right? Like Ten Hag last year was getting so much praise. Just winning the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Right? And the top 4, in his case, top 3.
Top 3.
And potentially top 4 this year.
FA Cup final.
But, so what he's saying is, Dan Ashworth has been put on gardening leave. I don't understand these British terms of what that means. By Newcastle, as United try to finalize a deal for him to become sporting director at Old Trafford. Issue with that is I think he has like a year or so left. That means either we have to wait a year and a half, or we could agree to a compensation package. Now, I hope
we just buy him out basically.
Essentially, yeah. But yeah, so like he said, it's not an overnight change. It's not a light switch. It's gonna take 2 or 3 seasons. He definitely said it's not a 10-year plan because fans will get impatient that way. At the end of the day, if fans ask for it, you as a Raptor fan are acknowledging that now, like, this is what you asked for. This is what I asked for. You have to live through this pain.
Live through it now.
He has plans to either redevelop Old Trafford or build a new stadium, as he admitted the 74,000 capacity venue has fallen behind. So yeah, so far, I'm happy with what he's saying. Again, actions speak louder than words. We've heard many times.
But I like the words so far. Yeah.
Right? Because everybody was still hating it, the fact that Glazers are involved. Based on this, the Glazers are not involved. So we'll see how true that is. He's obviously, like I said, he's making his stance on things, trying to get Dan Ashworth in. But one thing I do want to say to him is get rid of the medical stuff. Please get rid of the medical stuff. Because Luke Shaw is probably done for the year, which means we probably have to watch Victor Lindelof play left back unless they put Sofian Amrabat in, or that Kangawa Ball, what's his name? The young guy that played for us?
Kambawala.
Yeah, he might go right back or whatever the case might be, right? Because Martinez is out for a couple of months as well.
Wan-Bissaka still out too.
Wan-Bissaka is out. So even if your option was Dallo left back and Wan-Bissaka right back,
that's gone.
So here's why you need to fire the medical staff. You already knew Luke Shaw is injury prone, okay? Tyrell Malacia has not been found.
Yeah, like
I don't know. It's like a Jelani Woods situation with him.
Our backup left back has been out all year.
Your backup left back of the backup left back is playing right back right now. Who is your starting right back? So essentially, the guy to come in, even though I consider Wan-Bissaka could be a starter, those two you can't do that. And assuming you listen to the health, the health team and all that, the medical team, that Malacia will be back or Shaw is perfectly fine or whatever the case is, you sent back Sergio Reguilon.
Yeah.
So
you're screwed.
You need to fire the medical staff. And then on top of that, there's other injuries, right? Like Lisandro Martinez got injured again. Shaw got injured again. And
we've seen
Martial is out for the year.
So here's the thing.
So on and so forth.
Here's the thing, right? When we've seen these players go on their health stretch, we saw Martinez play a few games. We saw Shaw play, right?
Game changers.
We're on a 4-game win streak at the moment.
Yeah.
And now all the same injuries reoccurred again. And you're going to have City coming up in 2 weeks as well.
I would want Lindelof playing there.
You're going to have a tough April and tough May. Even a tough April. Like, it's going to be a balance. You're going to have good games, bad games. You have a lot of tough teams to face. A lot of important games, right? A lot of teams that are ahead of you.
And you're probably doing it without a natural left back.
You're doing it without it.
The young left back, you sold him. I don't know why you didn't put him on loan. You sold him to Benfica.
Yeah. So you're doing it without a natural left back, one of your best center backs. Finally, your midfield's healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And then strike force, you only have 3 people. And legit, if Garnacho and Højlund and Rashford, if one of them are off their game, we're screwed because our attack is dead. All 3 of them have to be on their game.
Unless you're relying on Ahmed, and he's young.
Ahmed Diallo, Tenek doesn't even play him. And we already know what the story is.
I'm fine with that because he does the same thing with Garnacho in the past and all that. But
then you already know the story with Anthony. So he's not.
So people are saying Anthony should play left back.
Honestly, at this rate,
because they say that they feel like he's a better left back than a left.
He does more defensive work.
But I'm scared he's gonna dribble and spin in his own half. And
that's true too. But yeah,
and clear the ball.
It's proving that when this squad got healthy, they proved that they're a good squad and they could win games.
Yeah, sometimes is it annoying to watch? Sure, but
they win games, right? At the end of the day, like that Wolves game was a great game.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, it was no business. They should it should have been a 4-3 game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There are a lot of missed chances, like a lot. Like Bruno, Højlund, Rashford, everyone missed chances. That game should have been 6-0. It should have been 6-0 and done and dusted. But if you're looking at the performance itself, it was an incredible performance. It was a good performance. It was fun to watch. And yeah, obviously, it was a scare as well at the same time. But it was clear that Man United should have won that game, which eventually did happen. Probably another game, I think. Luton Town game. First 20 minutes, it wasn't good. After that,
it was like meh.
It was meh.
There was the game right after Wolves that they just dominated.
Yeah, they did that too. I forgot which one was that. That's what I'm trying to remember.
But yeah, no, the point, while you look that up, the point is, I'm excited.
West Ham, we won 3-0. Yeah.
And that they were a top team that we needed to win at the time
too.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see these changes. Again, actions speak louder than words. We'll see if everything is finalized in terms of the staff and everything by the summer. But just please fire the medical team. I can't stand this anymore. Because there's no reason why we do not have a left back.
Yeah, for sure.
like a primary left back at all. So
All right,
let's move on. The rest are gonna be quick. Very quickly. Let's go to the MLB. Liam Hendricks. Again, he was a guy the cancer last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So signed with the Red Sox. Again, love to see that he's playing his career. Yes, he's in the division rival, but we'll see how that goes. Free agency wise though, that's the only free agency move you see.
Yeah.
We mentioned Whit Merrifield is a Philly last time.
Blue Jays news wise, Hyunjin Ryu is signed an 8-year contract with.
8 years? I thought it was 4 years.
It was 8 years, says right here. $12.8 million contract with Korea's Hanwha Eagles.
So his MLB career is done.
Is over. Yes.
I'm gonna miss that guy. If it wasn't the injuries, he was actually really good.
He came off Tommy John and was incredible.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm literally upset why the Blue Jays didn't re-sign him, just because I would love to see pitching depth.
Maybe he wanted to go home.
Maybe that's another reason.
The other thing is,
I just want to see pitching depth.
The other thing is when he left the Dodgers immediately won the World Series.
Well, maybe that's true.
So I'm just looking at positive that way.
But we were looking at positive. I was just saying that, he was a good pitching depth piece.
Yeah, I just feel like he
should have been cheap as well.
A couple things. He probably wanted to go home. He's obviously older.
He's
coming off Tommy John.
He probably might know his MLB career is coming to an end.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
At the end of the day, maybe he wasn't getting offers anywhere else either.
Yeah, that's true.
So why would the Blue Jays be the only team to do it, right?
But yeah, shout out to Hyunjin Ryu.
Yeah.
Brought some excitement in these last 4 years for the Jays. Obviously, his signing was the first signing. Kickstarted this Jays run here as well.
Speaking of the Jays, before we talk about the other free agency, Bo Bichette literally said, like, it's time. We have to hold each other accountable. And we're here to prove people wrong. And we're two of those people that he needs to prove wrong because we're not confident at all with this team. Will I be surprised they do well? No, because it's baseball. B, we've seen potential before. But it's just we're basing it off historical facts.
Bro, we've been stuck on potential for the last 5 years.
Exactly. We're sticking on with 2 years of history, if you want to put it that way.
We're stuck on, this team has potential. This team hasn't got the job done. We're stuck on hope.
Yeah.
We don't have facts. We don't have evidence. That's what we don't have.
Exactly. So listen, obviously we're Jays fans. We're always going to be Jays fans. We're obviously not rooting against this team to be right. Yeah. We're never going to be that. We always say prove us wrong. But yeah, that's the Jays side of things. So we'll see. Spring training games start this weekend. By the way, MLS has already begun, so you guys could watch Messi play. I forgot to mention that in soccer.
Inter Miami 2-0 dub.
And all 4 of those former Barca dudes played. But the big story of the MLB baseball season outside of spring training starting is that Blake Snell, Cody Bellinger, and I guess to a lesser extent Matt Chapman are still free agents. And Justin Turner, obviously new Blue Jay, has said it's kind of been a weird thing for baseball. I don't know what he said exactly because a Cy Young winner, literally the reigning NL Cy Young winner,
he's done it twice.
A rookie of the year and a top defensive player have not signed yet anywhere. And now 2, I think all 3 or maybe 2 for sure have Scott Boras connections. And he says he does not want to have a cap because it restricts certain things. Maybe you need to look for a new agent. I don't know because he takes his okay. My question to you is this: when are they going to sign?
Middle of spring training. All three of these players.
There's no heavy rumors coming out either.
All 3 of these players will be on.
JD Martinez is the other.
All 3 of these players will be on a roster. I'm fairly confident that. So before the regular season starts.
Now, the latest, I have to check on Google to see what's going on because I wasn't seeing anything from the insiders. Google said Yankees are in touch with Blake Snell, which is going to be scary.
Yeah.
The Mariners are in touch with Chapman, and the Cubs are not looking to re-sign Bellinger apparently. So we'll see. How
at this rate, they're not going to get what the hell they want, right? That's for sure. Right?
But they better sign quick, too, because...
you don't want to have a shit year.
Yeah, you don't want to come in...
Because at the end of the day, you're going to be on a prove-it-year contract. Other than Snell, I'm fairly confident Snell will have a 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah, I don't know how he has...
Yeah.
Unless he's looking for something ridiculous.
But Chapman and Bellinger,
they have to
they're going to have another prove-it year.
Well, Bellinger has to prove a second year.
Yeah.
Essentially.
They're going to have another prove-it year. But yeah.
So we'll see.
Let's move on to the next topic. We'll go
NBA. We'll end off on the NFL quickly, but NBA, 2 news. NBA will be back today.
Today, yeah.
So it's about a week of no basketball. All-Star, like I said, has ended. The thing we'll start with the first news that happened a couple of days ago. Jacques Vaughn dismissed from the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Ollie is going to be the interim bench boss following his firing. Kevin Ollie was also linked to a lot of other coaching opportunities in the summer as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he led UConn to a national title as a head coach in 2014. That's Ollie's resume. Vaughn was in the middle of the second season at the helm in Brooklyn because keep in mind, he took over Steve Nash last year. Did decently well, even with Irving and with Kyrie and Katie. Then they ultimately got traded. And yeah, right. So the thing here I do want to say is with Brooklyn, everybody knows my thoughts. I think you share the same thoughts.
Yeah.
Unless Kevin Ollie comes in and does something crazy because he's a younger coach or whatever, nothing's going to change. You've recently come out and said Mikal Bridges is you're going to build around him. He's the face of the franchise. And to that, I disagree heavily. I'm not disrespecting Mikal Bridges. He's a very good basketball player, but he's a number 3 on a championship team.
Yeah, we said this many times before, especially in our check out our NBA trade deadline if you want to hear more of an in-depth Nets rant, because the Nets again were stagnant at the deadline. They didn't do anything. And
my point, Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas have put together strong campaigns, and they're outside of a play-in right now.
Exactly, and that's probably the best piece of evidence you could to support your point. Basically.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. I think they were also rumored to be pissed that, it was Dinwiddie and Bridges were pissed that he was building around Ben Simmons. Jock Vaughn was a little bit, and obviously we know Ben Simmons ain't that Ben Simmons anymore.
Does he even play?
He does. He's like up and down with it. But he's not the same Ben Simmons. Yeah. So we'll keep that there. But like I said, I don't think this changes much unless Kevin Ollie goes, this is just a head coaching audition and he does something crazy and just...
Moving on to more positive news, Michael Conley. And
okay, stop extending names if you don't know that's their actual name.
I don't know, I just think I do. But Mike Conley got an extension from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah. Obviously, he's had a down year in percentage, just overall points-wise, but his three-point percentage has been there. Again, you have Anthony Edwards, and you have Karl Anthony Towns leading the way. You're there for veteran leadership, steady point guard play, and pretty much that's it. And defense.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But at least you're knocking your shot down. This 2-year, $21 million contract extension. I don't know if this is 2 years, 21 per or 21 total. If it's 21 total, I'm fine with it.
I think it's 21 total.
Okay.
Because NHL usually goes like a year.
Yeah.
Like NBA usually has and NFL usually have the full. Like they see the full.
Yeah.
Contract.
So like like I said to my he's 36. So I think I agree with you there with the contract how it's laid out. 10.6 points per game, which is his lowest since his rookie season, but 6.4 assists and career high 44% from 3.
So he's doing his job, right? Like,
and he's leading the team. And leading a team as like leadership wise.
He's leading them through point guard ways. He's leading them through, leadership and experience.
Yeah.
And he's doing his job, playmaking, knocking down the occasional three when he needs to. And yeah, he's been efficient. He's done his job well. And honestly, it's fair. I found everything fair about this.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Just reward the guy. And he's a big factor of why your team's first place right now at the moment. Let's close it off. Little fun topic because NFL, like I said, there's no real news. Free agency doesn't start for another month. I guess the tag rumors and all that is gonna be intact. But let's talk about what the Score article has dropped. The trades. 7 blockbuster trades we want to see this NFL offseason.
Dropped by Jack Brown.
We will agree if we want to see this or not.
Yeah, we'll start off. We'll go down the
down the list.
Devontae Adams to the Jets.
I want to see him gone. I don't care where. I guess the Jets, I don't really want to see it.
Okay, so you want to see him gone? The Jets, obviously, we know why it's the perfect fit.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
And the second reason is their team is desperate in general.
Yeah. So, do I want to see it happen? As a Colts fan, no, obviously. But does it make sense? Yes. Do I see both teams, make it happen? Yes, I do think that.
Yeah.
All right, next up, you got Fields to the Steelers. And if I'm the Steelers, I'm
all over this.
All over this, yeah.
But I would rather see him in Atlanta. That's just me. So
I think Atlanta, it would be more fun to watch.
I do not want to see this to the Steelers, but I do want to see him gone, obviously, and I want him to see him with a proper leadership group with proper weapons around him, proper coaching staff around him. So I would rather see him in Atlanta, personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I won't say coaching staff wise. I'll just say weapons wise because Atlanta do have the better weapons. Coaching at the end of the day, you still have Mike Tomlin, right? You're still gonna have a proper coach. Raheem Morris is obviously Atlanta coach who's gonna have some. Then be an eye on him because it's his second stint as a coach. But yeah, Steelers should be all over this.
Yeah, Steelers should be all over this. I'm not disagreeing
Yeah.
with that part. I'm
Right.
saying I would rather see him as a Atlanta guy because I think he also goes home.
All right, this next one's a little bit crazier.
Yeah. I mean,
Stephon Diggs to the Carolina Panthers.
so I did predict that he might get traded,
which is fair. Yeah.
but Gabe Davis also put a post saying that goodbye or something like that because he's a free agent.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna
Yeah.
be weird. But to the Panthers, I don't know if I want to see Stephon Diggs there necessarily because of that division is weak. So I get it to help Bryce Young. It might help for sure. Don't get me wrong with that. Would I rather see Stephon Diggs on a more of a would I rather see him on a more ready now team that just might be a receiver away? I'm not saying the Colts, but I'm saying like maybe Houston.
Yeah. So, in Stephon Diggs' perspective, obviously you wouldn't
No.
want it. For Panthers' perspective, I like it in the terms of
You got a veteran.
you need someone with
Yeah.
Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud said himself that Bryce Young, had it tough with his situation. So you have a new coaching staff, you have all that stuff. Get him a proper weapons. At the end of the day, Stephon Diggs is still a top 10 receiver in this game, right? Has his performances lived up to it, especially this year? No, for sure. But Stephon Diggs had, years where he was a number 1 receiver, years where he's a number 10. He's been all over that list
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
But I would rather see him like on a
Yeah,
not from a Colts perspective, but from a neutral fan perspective, a Houston Texans.
Yeah, that's fair too. But for the Panthers, I don't hate it for the Bryce Young aspect of it.
Geno Smith for the Falcons. No,
Yeah,
I don't really care. Like I said, I want to see Justin Fields as a Falcon, but I'd rather just keep Geno Smith. Just draft a quarterback you think could fit Seattle. Let Geno Smith be that guy for one more year and mentor him and move on.
That's true. Another thing is like, if there's no Justin Fields and there's no draft, like if you're looking at in the realm of
Yeah, the article says that too.
NFL, no draft, nothing. Geno Smith is the best option after Justin Fields for the Atlanta Falcons, so I could see why, as well. And yeah, but that's the only thing I really got there. I have no other world. Like Falcons
Yeah.
should be drafting a quarterback or getting a young quarterback like Fields.
Brandon Ayuk,
All right, so this one hit home.
Indianapolis Colts.
Brandon Ayuk is gonna have a contract extension. That's gonna be a big one.
And he's going to get tagged most likely.
Yeah. So because of that, obviously trade talks will happen. Obviously San Francisco are trying to get something done. Brandon Ayuk also and put up cryptic
Not just him, family.
family members as well put up cryptic tweets or stories after the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens there. Brandon Ayuk, obviously, we don't know how the Niners are going to be able to keep him.
Would you trade the 15th overall pick and do like that debuck trade again with the same team?
I would.
Okay, would
I
you
would.
pay him and Pittman $24 million per?
Yes, because we need to get Anthony Richardson all he can have.
Yeah, so like if that's the case, I'm fine with. Hopefully, Jelani Woods is healthy. I'm fine with the tight end group unless they draft someone.
Bro, imagine.
That being said, like I'll take this weapon group and just upgrade the O line and draft someone from. Oh no, you can't draft someone at the 15th pick. I
Yeah,
guess,
no, but here's the thing, bro. Like, we've seen Brandon Ayuk be incredible, right? And you're going to pair him up with Pittman, who was incredible this
who gets
year.
number 11?
Fight for it. Who had more yards last year? Probably Ayuk, I think. Yeah, so Ayuk probably gets it. But, Ayuk was incredible last
Well,
year.
Pitt wore it for a while.
Yeah, I know. Ayuk was incredible last year, and there's no denying that.
Yeah.
And he's going to be an upgrade to whatever team. And Niners should be trying their
How
best
realistic
to
is this?
restrain it.
As a Colts fan, from a Colts fan,
For a Colts
knowing
fan
the Colts perspective.
yeah, Colts are always conservative, especially under the Ballard era. And it's worked some years, not worked.
Well, the one time they did trade a first round pick was
Yeah.
DeForest Buckner.
It's worked some years it didn't work. The thing here is that you still never won the Super Bowl. You never won the big games. You weren't part of many of those big games. So perfect chance to take a risk here is on Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, but like you said, they're usually conservative when it comes to the weapons, so we'll see.
Son Reddick to the Lions.
Love it.
Love it.
Love
Every
it.
aspect of it, just because Hutchinson and Hassan Reddick on each side rushing the passer is going to be incredible. Hassan Reddick himself, I think, is still 29, so he still has some years left in him. Hassan Reddick, we believe he is the Eagles' best edge rusher, right? Who, honestly, Eagles have a lot of defensive line depth, so that's why I could see why they're moving on from him. So, but yeah, Lions need every bit of defense they can get. Hassan Reddick still is that guy.
Last one, Justin Simmons, Packers, and same thing I said with the Lions and Hassan Reddick. I love it.
Love it.
You're already one of the younger teams. Justin Simmons is a top 3 safety in the league, top 5 safety in the league, as well. I don't know what's happening with Jair Alexander if he is staying.
Even if he
that
is,
secondary is gonna be insane.
if he's staying, obviously secondary is insane. Even if he is going, it's a good replacement to have in a secondary.
Yeah.
Yes, he's not a direct replacement at a cornerback, but you're still adding a stud. Justin Simmons has been one of the top safeties for quite a bit now, and yeah, young squad definitely would love to have that if I were them. And obviously the defense was, I would say, their lower point coming to that near the end of the year, finishing off the year. The defense was worse than their offense.
A team I'm not surprised to see on this list a little bit, or a player, sorry, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
That would have been definitely Indy. But
Yeah, that's for
okay,
sure.
so last question to close it off. Fun topic. Indy fans will love this. 15th overall pick. You keeping it, or you have twice. You keep it and you take the best player available. That's not a quarterback or a running back, which is obvious. Or you trade it for Brandon Ayuk, or you trade it for Justin Simmons, or you trade it for Terry McLaurin, or you trade it for Jair Alexander.
I think the smarter option, all right, I would probably trade it.
If
Right.
those are the options.
If those are the options, I think it's smarter to get Simmons or Jair Alexander.
I think Jair.
Right? Just because our defense and our secondary was atrocious. But
You love Ayuk.
I love wide receivers. I love wide receivers.
I go Jair. I think that's the.
I think Jair is the smartest option.
Yeah.
But if I'm going for in the fan of like in the aspect of what I want to see, what I want to watch as a fan, I want to watch offense. You know, I want to watch an electric offense. You know, especially with the Richardson and Taylor will be the week 1 starters, barring any injuries.
Please.
You have Pitt on one side and you have Brandon Ayuk on one side, or Terry McLaurin. That's gonna be an offense.
Please, God, let this Indianapolis offseason go smoothly for once, because Anthony Richardson
And be aggressive.
Jonathan Taylor, that too. And then if you do say weapon-wise, you have 3-4 studs.
Bro, you got A-Rich,
JT,
JT, Pittman.
one of those two, if you want to
Let's just say
that.
Ayuk.
Okay.
Let's just say Ayuk.
Josh Downs.
Josh Downs running the slot.
And then...
And your O-line bounce. If their O-line is the same as last year, obviously, you know, you still have Quentin Nelson. Ryan Kelly was still good.
Yeah.
Braden Smith was incredible.
And then you have whatever
for the
tight end you
games
want to
he
put in
played
there. Whatever tight end you want to put in there.
Or whatever tight end.
Probably Jelani if he's healthy.
Like Jelani's still good. Kylan Granson still does his job, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's be fun.
It's going to be fun.
But
again,
it hasn't happened. We're still imagining.
NFL content will be stuff like this. If we see fun articles that we see a mock draft or whatever the case may be, we'll get that. We'll just react to it accordingly. Like I said, heavy NHL, NBA content and soccer for sure. But yeah,
like,
to
comment,
close,
and subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, comment anything down below what you guys think. Make sure you guys check out the YouTube poll. We dropped a video about the NFL or NBA MVP race. We dropped a poll on YouTube community post this morning as well. So make sure you guys vote who you think MVP is. The options are Shea, Jokic, Giannis, or other. If it's other, comment down below who you think that is. Just don't click other so we kind of know who you pick. But outside of that, make sure you guys follow all our socials linked down below. Road to 500, so help us get there. We'll keep continuing dropping content, different types of sports content, even non-sports content for you guys from time to time. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.